Hello everyone, and welcome to another One Piece manga chapter read along. This time for chapter 1182. But first, I wanted to have a bit of a discussion that's related to One Piece and Luffy, but not to today's chapter specifically. But if you want to jump to the chapter read along, if you're watching this back later, you can just take a look at the pinned comment. Booty, who is my mod, he always posts timestamps. So if you want to skip to any specific part of this video, you can do that by just, checking the timestamps. But first, I was like, it's really important to me to have this discussion because Luffy is my favorite fictional character of all time, not just in anime. And he's a really important character to me. And yesterday we did a discussion video. It's called Question of the Week. And the question was, what are your most controversial or unpopular opinions in anime and manga? And there were some interesting thoughts, and I knew what kind of video it could be because controversial means like it's heavily debatable. And I thought I was prepared, but then I was not. I did not expect. I don't know. A little part of my heart did not expect someone to take on Luffy of all people. But anyway, so when I first read the comment, I reacted a bit, like I got heated, but it was all in good fun for the most part. But I think I could have said a lot of things better. Um, and just to kind of reiterate, there was another comment that was also about something very close to my heart, which is Bleach. But the comment was very well thought out, and although I disagreed with it, it wasn't. I didn't feel like I wanted to fight Knox because he was saying negative things about Bleach, but he was well thought out, so I could like read his perspective and understand it even if I disagreed. But however, the Luffy comment did not come through that way. It was very like the one thing was about One Piece, and he said One Piece should just end already. And then I was like instantly, it's not well thought out. It just feels like something that I need to defend, right? But it's fine. That's literally what the video was for. I just think that it was good to have like some time to process, and maybe, well, this morning at like 5:30 I couldn't sleep, and I like was lying awake thinking about, well, a bunch of things. But then to help me fall asleep, I was thinking about that, and I wrote some thoughts down which sounded better in my head this morning at 5:30. But I don't know if I was like, I think it might seem a bit like, oh, why did you get personal? But I'm not trying to be personal. I was literally trying to step outside of my body and think, what would it be like to be a person, any person, because there's obviously more people who feel this way. So I wanted to understand why would, how did this thought process happen? So if it sounds personal, I didn't mean it that way. And obviously, if it touches a nerve for you, don't let it, because if it's not true, it's not true. So first, let me just quickly recap the opinion. So the first part is about One Piece in general, saying One Piece was better before Gear 5. Sorry, I know every One Piece fan and their mother is gonna say I'm crazy, but it's how I feel. I don't have much of an argument. Ultimately, it's preference. I really like Gear 4, and I also feel like the story needs to end already. Don't get me wrong, I've been watching since I was 14. Like, that's supposed to mean anything. I don't regret it, but man, when we gonna settle down and call it a day? The story for me has become quite repetitive. So, like I said, I feel like if he wrote this is my opinion. If he wrote One Piece is a bit long. I think it's a story that could have been finished in 500 chapters. I would have been like, okay, I disagree, but I understand where you're coming from. But it's the language that's being used that made me defensive in that moment because of things like, oh, every One Piece fan and their mother. Um, I don't have much of an argument. So like it feels so flippant. I don't know if that's the right word. And then the part that I think got me like to be reaction, like to get heated, was when they said the story just needs to end already. Whew. And there's another part to the comment where someone else was talking, responding, and they were agreeing with each other. And then they said, no hate on our monkey boy, but let's be real. When they turned him into the one, I was like, so they were basically saying Luffy started out as some random kid with a silly power, and it was a core appeal to the series. He was not some crazy destined god. Now it's like every other shonen. And I feel like that also was a big issue for me. And it will become clear in my message why that's a big issue for me. So here we go. This is my response that I wrote down at 5:30 this morning when I was supposed to be sleeping from 3 a.m. So these are my thoughts, and please, if it comes across as personal, that's not how I mean it. If this is not you, that's obvious. But I was trying to put myself in the feet of someone who loves Luffy in chapter 1, but then thinks of him negatively, like, oh, he used to be some random kid, now he's some kind of god, like every other shonen. Like, okay, here comes my rant. Okay, this is what I wrote. Some people will always look at others and say things like, well, she was born rich. He was born with a natural talent. Oh, well, they had good parents, unlike mine. They're lucky. They're special. This is my fate, and that is theirs. Like, they just resign themselves, right? But that's bullshit. Life is what you make of it, 99% of the time. Fortune favors the brave. So Luffy accidentally ate the devil fruit and he became an anchor. His journey could have ended there. For many, it does. What now, in retrospect, looks like a stroke of luck. Wow, it's this magical devil fruit and stuff. It could have just as easily have been a curse, something that anchored him back in his old hometown. It's a matter of perspective and what you do. Luffy's dream from the very start is to become the pirate king. Not a king of a country, not a great pirate ruling over one of the seas. That's the extent of most of our dreams. We want to become like, oh, a business owner. Oh, we want to become a singer or like, something like that. Who dreams of becoming the president of a country? Take that 10 steps further. This is not the president of a country. This is the freaking pirate king. How many pirate kings do we have in a generation? He didn't want to be one in a million. Luffy wanted to be one in a billion. You don't get there by talking big, and you don't get there by staying small. You're kidding yourself if you try and play down Luffy's journey by saying he's just some kind of the one character or he's been handed god status, even though, should he have stayed like the simple character that you were comfortable with? To people sitting at home and not following their dreams, I guess you have to downplay his great but arduous journey so that you can stay comfortable and keep watching anime after anime, movie after movie that makes you feel good for a short while before you have to get your next fix. Because it's too scary to admit to yourself that to be one in a billion, you have to take one in a billion types of actions. Like actions that one in a billion wouldn't. No, wait. The how to say this? 900 million, 999,900,000, all those nines. Those people don't take those steps. He had to be one in a billion, okay? You have to work for it. You have to fight for it. You have to believe in it, and you have to believe in yourself. You have to sacrifice things. You have to carry people's expectations, jealousy, and not only their doubts and fears, but you have to carry your own as well. To achieve a one in a billion dream, you have to become a one in a billion person. Luffy was a dime a dozen, a silly kid with a big dream. He couldn't stay the person that he was. What is that? For for what kind of story would that be? So you like the Luffy who dreamed the dream, but you don't like the Luffy that became the man capable of making that dream come true. That's because, and this is the part that I'm sorry, but for me, it seems like that's because you were left behind. Your dreams stay dreams. You want to watch someone small dream big so that you can keep dreaming big because you feel too small for what Luffy has become. Like, it's too scary to take a step towards your dream, so you can't watch Luffy take the 10,000th step towards his 1 in a billion dream. I'm not saying we all need to become 1 in a billion kind of people. That's not how the world works. But we're getting there. Luffy was not born lucky. He's not the chosen one, and he just dreamed something great. And that's why we have more than 1,000 chapters of One Piece. Because there are no quick fixes. It's a long journey, it's a difficult journey, but depending on your perspective and who you surround yourself with, it can be one hell of an adventure that we get to be a part of. It can inspire millions, and it has. One small, silly dreamer can change the world. But it doesn't happen overnight, and he never said he wanted to do it by himself. In fact, he never even planned to change the world in the first place. He wanted to be a pirate king because in his mind, that was the most free person. There are many quotes about shining brightly that I think is very fitting for this discussion and Luffy's character. So I just want to give an example. Wait, where? Here they are. So just like, if you let your own light shine, you unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. And that's Luffy's character in a nutshell. Like, he doesn't try and be a light for others, he just shines. Luffy's journey shows that any small and silly dreamer can do great things. There will be 1,000 reasons to give up, but to those who don't give up, I'll say it again, fortune favors the brave. Obviously, we don't all want Luffy's level of dreams, but he's a fictional character. He's a symbol. So we don't all have to be a 1 in a billion, but maybe we want to be, maybe we have a 1 in 1,000 dream. Maybe we have a 1 in 100,000. Like, whatever's is your right step. Luffy can just be it's just the light, that shines the way, that gives you that spark that you feel to take the next step. Anyway, I want to give another quote. Sorry for being so cliche, but this is a pretty interesting one. No one is going to know or care about your failures, and neither should you. All you have to do is learn from them. All that matters is that you get it right once, and then everyone can tell you how lucky you are. So, like, in Luffy's case, we know all his failures, but he didn't stop there. He learned from them, and he didn't get it right once. He did many things right, and it accumulated to who he is today. People who look at the current Luffy and say he's some magical, the one god, like any other shonen, we clearly see every step of the way where he earned his greatness. He has become a man worthy of the title of Pirate King. This was always his goal, and if you think it was luck or just shonen fit stuff, then that says more about you than anything else. Did you read the story? Did you really care about the story? Doesn't matter if you didn't. If it's too long, that is understandable. But don't say it's just like any other shonen. That goes past an opinion to me, and that just makes claims that are unfounded because I read the story. Sorry. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Luffy planted all the seeds with his nakama through his journey, and now you're looking at the harvest like it sprouted up out of thin air. That is willful ignorance. So, one more quote, being cliche, sorry. You cannot swim for new horizons until you have the courage to lose sight of the shore. Stop looking at Luffy when you're still standing at the edge of the water. Swim to where he is and you'll see. So that was my kind of trying to make more sense, but also still being emotional clearly. And I'm just gonna, this was after I sent this to Booty, I added some more rambles. And I said, I'm going to ramble a bit more to be clear, to clear my head, but no rush to read this. I wasn't planning to actually talk about this today. I was going to do it in the next question of the week, but I end up writing a lot. What I want to ramble about is the thoughts above about Luffy. I feel like I'm going to share those thoughts. If I'm going to share those thoughts, I need to preface or end it by saying that I'm not trying to make it personal. But I already talked about that. And then this is Bootie's response. So he said, for me, it looks like he just doesn't like Gear 5, and he didn't want to say it directly. So Luffy's Devil Fruit took the blame. Luffy was never the one, and is not the one now. He was a pretty mediocre pirate. With what we thought it was a pretty mediocre devil fruit, and he learned how to use it well. But like if you give, think about if you give $1,000 paintbrushes, $1,000 paint to an amateur artist, he cannot do what a professional could do. Someone trained, someone prepared, someone knowing the quality, understanding the value. Like, if anyone else got that devil fruit, it's not like it would have turned out the same. It's still through Luffy's efforts that he was able to utilize and bring out the best of those paints, you know? Sorry, let me continue reading what Booty said. Luffy was never the one, and he's not the one now. He was a pretty mediocre pirate with what we thought was a pretty mediocre devil fruit, that he learned how to use it. Remember the Kid Luffy flashbacks when he was unable to hit Sabo or Ace because he had zero control. But that didn't matter. He had a goal and he worked for that. He didn't know how to sail or cook or use weapons, but that didn't matter because he doesn't need to be able to do everything. He found people to do it with him. He discovered that he was too weak for his dream when he met Aokiji, for example, and that would prevent him from reaching his goal to protect his new friends. And that's also another goal. He trained and he found new ways to utilize his devil fruit with Gear 2 and Gear 3. He discovered the world was still bigger and bigger than what he was thinking, and he was not ready. Marineford, he could not save Ace. Again, he had to learn how to evolve further and push himself, learn how to use Haki for his goal and for his friends. The point is that he found all of these problems, but he never stopped. He found solutions for them and discovered that his devil fruit is a special one. That doesn't change anything. He never knew and he still never gave up. And if his devil fruit was a normal one, nothing would have changed. He's not even or barely aware that it's a special devil fruit. And he still can't do all of it by himself, and he needs the same help he always needed. You know, from his nakama, like he needs a navigator. He needs a chopper, an Usopp, a liar, sorry. What was that quote from Arlong Park? I need a cook. I need to fight a swordsman, a navigator, a liar. Luffy is the same. Someone working for his goal and friends. And that didn't happen because he got a unique devil fruit or because he has the D or he's the new Joy Boy or some god that's just like any other shonen. It's because he never gave up and he worked with what he had to fulfill what he wants for him and his friends, not for the world or fate. So that went better than I thought. I thought I was going to get more worked up, but I can't cook, I can't navigate, I can't even lie. Oi, oi, oi. The way that he said, if all the fans and their mother will cry, that's a hater, so easy. Yeah, it was like, it came from a very, to me, it seemed like the reason why I had a problem with that comment and not with like Nox's comments on Bleach was because it felt like it came from a more bitter place. I don't know. They're unfounded claims. There's no arc in One Piece that doesn't build on the story. I'm confused when they watch shonen and say that's so shonen. Bro, Ace and Blackbeard and maybe Shanks are way more chosen one than Luffy. I just feel like if you really read One Piece, like no one has to care about anything, but if you read One Piece, you have to care about it. And if you really, not like, I'm not saying be obsessed with it, I'm not saying like get invested like I am, but if you read it with the intention of understanding it, I just feel like you would see that the Luffy we started out with, it was inevitable he had to become the person he is today. Otherwise, how would he do something like becoming the king of the pirates? Why did you applaud him announcing the dream, but you will not applaud him for becoming the man that can make that dream come true? It was a joke back then. People laughed at him, people looked down on him. It's a crazy dream. Now you look at him, he inspires people to see him as, I mean, think about how people look at Luffy now compared to then. It's not because of he was born the we saw every step of the journey. Isn't that something really special? Is there any manga, I mean, as good as shonen in general is? I'm a big fan of shonen. But there's every shonen has something special, but there's no shonen that shows you this every step of the journey the way that One Piece does, in my opinion. Like it could have been, to me, it could have been 1,000 more chapters. Like if you have a dream that big, it's not something you do in a year or two. But okay. To be fair, I do think it's a fair opinion to have, like, oh, the story could have been finished in 500 chapters if you feel that way. I still disagree. But I don't know, if you're gonna say something like that, it should just end already. It tells me that you don't really like One Piece. And then maybe it's time for you to move on. Um, maybe you can just read the end when it comes, and see what happens. But don't get me wrong, like I hate it when people tell me if you don't like it, you should just stop reacting to it. Like I try and say this is the good points, this is the bad points whenever I react to an anime. I say what I like, I say what I dislike. And if I don't like something too much, I do quit it. But I'm not just going to quit something because one episode or two episodes didn't have the visuals that I wanted, or like fair criticism is what Knox wrote. The saying things like the other comment that I read, I just feel like those came from a better place, and maybe it's time for a break. If it could have been the fandom that made him feel that way. Some fandoms have that effect. If you just want something light and fun and silly, that's been a selling point of One Piece. It's light and fun and silly, but it's never been just that. So I don't know. Yeah, I never said if I'm watching an anime and I'm saying like, oh, I don't like this scene, or I think that could have been better. If I ever say, oh, I wish it would just end already, that doesn't need to end. I need to stop reacting, and I've done that. I've done that for Durarara, which just wasn't my cup of tea at the time. I've done that for um Shield Hero, uh which I want to get back to it. I just think the one season was rushed. Actually, I could get back to Shield Hero. But you understand my point. If I know when it's time to step away from something. So, fair enough. Funk Hazard, that's an interesting way to put it. I think it was a wonderful twist though, but I also don't think that Luffy needed it to be the Nika fruit. But I think that sometimes in life when you it's kind of like JoJo's. In JoJo's how stand users attract each other? And you know how in real life, when it's like fortunate people seem to attract fortune wherever they go, and unlucky people seem to attract unluckiness wherever they go. I think it's telling, you know? Yeah, the flower blooms one, blue box, but that was for two different reasons. But yeah, I know when to stop an anime. Okay, are you ready? Thank you for letting me vent and hopefully redeem, like, because yesterday I was a bit, I didn't know how to say what I was feeling, so I just kind of did a very childish thing and I made fun. Like, I was like, oh, I don't like that he's the one. Ooh. Like I would do, because I couldn't, I was like a toddler that couldn't vocalize their feelings and instead just took the negativity and like teased. And obviously, you know, between friends, like that's gonna happen sometimes, but I wanted to acknowledge that that was wrong. And I wanted to just say, I stand by what I said, but not by how I said it, because I tried to say it better today. So that's all I wanted to do. So thank you guys for indulging me. And I welcome the sad thing is that the live chat is not going to be available on the playback when I re-upload this to the manga channel. So by all means, copy your messages, put it in a note on your phone, and when I reshare the video, please, you know, expand on your thoughts, copy and paste them. I welcome that. But for now, I want to go get my phone so that I can do the manga read along. Doji says, I think people are very traumatized about Naruto with the I'm actually the hero of destiny. That's funny. That's funny. I do remember someone saying, and I think it was Booty, maybe, you know, there was this moment with Neji where Naruto was telling him, you know, I wasn't born special, it's blah blah blah, and that it gets negated in Shippuden. And I've never really thought more about that because I I don't remember enough about Naruto. I'm not reading the manga. It's not still around. So that would be interesting to talk about, but did it work?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so are you guys ready for chapter 1181? I have to sit over here for the one visual. I want to roll also. Luffy is still out there, I think. Ha 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 ha. So you guys get your... Oh, Isabella! Those are two really good rolls. Okay, let me finish quickly. So that I can claim and focus up. Gran Torino. Man, I'm having some good rolls here. But now do I want to claim Fadis or do I want to claim Isabella? Isabella. She's a mom key. I need a mom key, even though she would also be a great claim. 1,003 and I'm just curious about the ranks. 2,000, but I seriously need her key, and I need Ray's key, and I need more Norman key. So okay, here we go. Let me just quickly recap where the chapter ended last time. I'm not watching Classroom of the Elite anymore. I think if I'm ever going to continue that story, it would be the light novel, but I have like 100 light novels that I would read. No, I have like 10 light novels at least that I would read before Classroom of the Elite. But it seems like a very interesting story, but I just have other more interesting stories that I would read first. Okay, so chapter 1181 ends with Loki saying, "You don't respect me enough." Like, if you, what did he say? what's wrong? Got distracted? Then you don't respect me enough. So he told Imu, if you got distracted, you don't respect me enough. Like, you don't understand the severity of the threat that I am. And then he smacked Imu into the tree, and I think that was into the tree, and he blasted him with a Thorheim. But Imu looks unscathed, unbothered, and said, "So thou art back." Okay, so here we go, chapter 1182. Reading it on Shonen Jump app as usual because it's convenient. And the cover is Isho savoring a bowl of udon, painstakingly crafted by a fox and a tanuki. Oh, he's looking like he's loving that. Oh, I love these visuals. Someday I'm going to have kids and they're going to have art class and I'm going to give them these to color. And the chapter is titled Zaza. That sounds like a name, but it could be anything. I don't know. Zaza. So, his presence is still there. It's hard to keep him in sight when I'm so huge. Needhogger. To think that I would see thee again in this world. Traitor. I think theorists are going to have a field day with that. He called him traitor. He's coughing. He seems a bit more affected than I thought. Snow. Ah, indeed. Lightning caused by an impact with ice. Thy affinity for one another was always great. Ragnir. So thou stayed as thou were in days past, waiting for a new master to come along. How familiar thy sight is. Kick, 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 kick. Hammer, Ragnir. A squirrel type fruit. Mythical type model. Ice squirrel, Ratatoskur. So how insane is this? Because as far as I remember, the first instance that we got is he a hammer with a squirrel fruit? Is that what we're being told, right? Because the first instance of that was a dog, or a gun with a dog fruit, or a dog with a gun fruit, and there was that elephant with a sword fruit, or the other way around. I keep getting confused. So like it's so amazing that it's still using things that were planted, seeds that were planted are now, like, they seemed silly back then. And then boom, integral part of the main plot. Funny story, I read Zoro as the title and moved on and waited all the chapter to see what the hell Zoro did to have a chapter named after him this late. Oops. So Imu is like recognizing Nidhogger, Ragnir, and accusing traitor. Like, it's like he's having memories, but I don't know if the squirrel even like recognizes him. We have to wait. Okay, let's go. So the squirrel says "Kuririri," and Loki seems to understand. Ragna Kuntaro. And the Imu summons a giant demon circle with eyes. Gazing eclipse. And just a bunch of little demon bombs spewing out of this like dark halo above him. But it's not just a halo, it's like a halo. And fire everywhere, and like they are causing chaos. And of course, it switches to another moment. Ah! To Bonnie saying, "Yikes, scary. Bonnie, come back this way." Don't worry, I'm not going to try a fight to fight that. Of course not. I'm your guardian now. I would never let you do such a thing. But who is that? He's clearly the superior of the Holy Knights of God. But he's not one of the five elders. In a massive organization lasting 800 years, it's only natural that power struggles will breed deeper and deeper darkness. That's a very good line. Apply that to the real world. In a massive organization lasting over many years, multiple generations, doesn't have to be up to 800. Honestly, if in two generations, it could already become toxic, because one generation might have earned a position of power, but with each generation, things become more difficult. So, in a massive organization lasting 800 years, it's only natural that power struggles will breed deeper and deeper darkness, which would mean, hey, Sanji, you're too hurt. There's no other choice for me, Bonnie. And what's this? A memory? How's that, Sanji? I didn't even need to take you out myself. Though it's incredible you're even alive right now. Where are you going? Back to my mission. Can't you see my rippling strength? I want to ripple something. So long, sucker. And then he just blasts off. He still hasn't given up kidnapping those children. Sanji! I can't let all of our battles be for nothing. This is the land that Usopp and Luffy have been dreaming about. I'm going to keep Elbaf safe. That's really cute. Because, his dream is the all blue, and Luffy and the Usopp will do the same for him. It might take Usopp a while, but once, push comes to shove, Usopp will do the same for him. Oh. It's the land of giant, beautiful woman! Yep, they couldn't... That's just like Sanji. He's still Sanji. And he's not wrong. Protect the beautiful woman. Protect everything, but especially the beautiful woman. Okay, the Owl Library. So around the back, there's a hidden tunnel ending in a secret room. And you managed to protect all the books from the fire. Well done, Bibelo. Thank you. I thought they were all lost. Yeah, I'm mighty glad too. And if I gotta admit, I'm even more perplexed about you than before, Bibelo. So the books are safe. The owl hid them in a secret room. I mean, it makes sense that after everything that they've done to protect all this knowledge, that they would have a plan, a fail-safe, just in case. You know what's funny to me? Sorry, can I just double back one page? I have a feeling like, okay, Sanji had a great moment, and I feel like Sanji fans are probably gonna be like mad about the lost line. I often see them in the anime ranting whenever Sanji, says something like Sanji. It's like they don't want him to be exactly who he is. Don't get me wrong, there's a time and a place for everything. But this doesn't affect anything. It's a joke. It doesn't... It's like he's on the way to help and he says something funny. Like, that's typical Sanji, and it's also typical One Piece. It would bother me if, Robin was screaming for help. So, I mean, anyone was screaming for help and he was having a cup of tea with Khalifa. Damn it. Sorry, I'm still not over that. I'm over it. But, so it would bother me if that happened. But, like, remember when Sanji barked? Like, one. Like, that is so Sanji. It's so funny. It didn't affect the main story. We love Sanji because he's Sanji, and yes, characters don't need to be perfect, and that's fine. That's why they're a team, you know? When one can't do something, the other fills in, and so on and so on. But that doesn't mean characters won't frustrate you. But it's just funny to me to see how often the biggest Sanji fans, they don't seem to like what makes Sanji Sanji. You know? Like, are you really a Sanji fan? Or you have an idea of him in your head and who you want him to fit into that box? Like, he's not allowed to be silly. Like, that's not very One Piece of you. Anyway. Sorry. Turning the page to page 8. It's the page where we find out, okay, the books have been kept safe in a secret room. Then the next page, at the Sea Cloud port by the Western Village. We have the Western Village over there, the Branch Route, and the Rainbow Port. And here we go! Who's that? Phew! Who's that? I see. Okay, well, we'll come back to that, I'm sure. Then we have this. I have no insult that accurately describes this man. So here is this man, this thing. I don't even want to call him a man because he acts so unmanly, but hey, hello. This is Somers speaking. Did I say Somers? I meant Super Somers. I found a giant ship to use. Oh, shit, that's him? Bring the brats over here in 5 minutes. Foo! They're coming back. You know, when we say don't give up, we don't mean you. You can give up. Then at the pub in the Western Village, look at the forest. It's like a war scene. The cut through your fingers was incredibly sharp and clean, so they should reattach, but it'll take months for a full recovery. Thank you, Chopper. I feel so inadequate. I'm supposed to be the one who heals everyone. There was nothing you could do about that. It reminds me of that movie Doctor Strange. Probably my favorite Marvel superhero. He was my favorite back when I was still watching Marvel movies. But imagine being a doctor and not being able, like, not to have your hands. Like, it's like being a singer and losing your voice, or being I don't know, super somers. One does not simply tell a cockroach to give up. Thanks, Dr. Chopper, for helping me and for helping my mom and everyone else. It's only emergency care. Once we're through this disaster, I can give them proper treatment. Ooh, ultra rare Gerdo. My precious has chopped fingers. Am I dreaming? Is this official? Dude! I would give you all of my fingers if I could. He's talking like he's a manga reader. It's too funny. But this is not the time, Rodo. Don't. Harsh. I am unworthy of the gift of your sharp tongue. Okay, he's kind of funny. But when I saw how you risked your life for your brother Bjorn, it did make me think a bit better of you. People are complaining about Gerd's reattached finger. Ah, fuck him. Like, we have a doctor in the house. Is he not supposed to doctor? Rodo squirts blood when he gets excited. I have an excess of ultra rare Gerdo. There goes her respect. They're saying Oda's downscaling Imu's strength. He literally cut faster. You know what is, back in the day when people you know, killed people, the what showed quality and the skill was how clean their cut was. A clean cut does not downgrade his strength. He doesn't give a fuck about whether or not he killed her. She's an ant to him. He literally went like this, like symbolically, and he did a clean cut. That is skill. Without even thinking about it, without even caring about the ant next to him. He basically just... People just want to cry. He is strong doesn't mean biggest explosions. Its control is the scariest. Its skill, that's the scariest. And you know what's even more scary? When... Why would he care if he killed her or not? Why did he even properly see her? It's like when you're walking and you're trampling on like grass. Like he literally just symbolically, I don't remember the exact scene, but that's in my mind, that's kind of... No, 100% a clear cut can be attachable. That's what I'm saying. A doctor did something that a doctor would do. Why is that a problem? An evil villain showed insane control and skill. Oh, that somehow makes them less strong. No, it doesn't. People are just looking for reasons to complain. Okay, so now we're at Team Zoro, portside on Western Village. People are expecting Imu to kill everyone on Elbaf. If he was that kind of villain, evil, like, oh, boom, 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 what the fuck? He's controlled the world. He's been, you know, for hundreds of years. Why would he go around like boom, 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 boom? Are they expecting Dr. Evil from what's that guy? What's that guy's name? What's that guy? He plays both Dr. Evil and the other guy. He goes, yeah, baby. Like, imagine Emo coming around going, yeah, baby. Petting a cat and just like slicing people's throats as they walk by. That's how they think. Yeah, no, I'm making fun of how they think. Like, if he was that kind of villain, I think that would be more disappointing to me. Austin Powers, thank you. He's not an Austin Powers villain. He doesn't... He has a specific goal here. If he wanted to explode the island, he could have exploded the island. Or I think. I don't remember how much of the mother flame how often they can use the mother flame or something. But he has a very particular goal here, right? He wants to use the giants. Why would he kill people who he thinks is integral to ruling the world, power that he wants, he needs? Why would he kill resources in his mind? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I understand criticism, but if people thought about the motivations of these characters for 1 minute, I feel like they'd complain a little bit less. And just, understand. Anyway, Team Zoro, port side. I appreciated Goldberg. Our legs cannot carry us that fast. As fast. It's fine. I'm the only one in the new pirates who didn't get horribly wounded. Plus, Elbaf in peril. I appreciate you helping us out. I love the way he speaks. It's so cute. No worries. Our captain's a friend's country is my country kind of guy. Oh, he truly is. Our captain is a friend's country is my country kind of guy. I can see why Hydrogen thinks so highly of him. That black flame, though, it was transforming into steel bullets and bombs. And he clearly helped the Knights of God, who were already here, power up further. If we don't put an end to them soon, things will get out of hand. Somers! This is at the port in the western village. Somers, I messed up. I summoned the wrong thing. Killingham? You didn't. Yes, what I'm afraid of. I got overzealous. Oh, shoot. He summoned his own fear. You idiot. Now you're gonna be freaking us out. But you can still control it, right? Yes, it's still a sleep-tid, so I think so. Well, what's done is done. Just hurry. We don't have time. What about Gunko? I saw her on the way here, but she's gotta be dead, man. Suddenly they sound like frat brothers. She's gotta be dead, man. What is this the translation? What does it say in Japanese? How does he respond? So be it. Great Emu's body is not meant to withstand the outside, but even pushing past that, the strength we need and the strength we ought to destroy are both right here. The strength we need, which is the giants, the strength we ought to destroy, like Luffy and the others, or the hammer. Oh. Do not disappoint the Great One. We must live up to his expectations, Killingham. Of course. Western Village. Rain? It's a downpour out of nowhere. What does this mean? It's flooding indoors. Don't let the wounded get soaked. Go! Capture those brats. Ah! Colin! Ilva! Help us! There's something outside! We were born in a place so high, it's above all the rain clouds. Water coming down from the sky? It's a mysterious terror. After the people of the D and the... Oh, wait, is this him talking, Killingham? Oh! They were born in a place so high it's above the rain clouds. Water coming down from the sky is a mysterious terror. Ah, after the people of the D and Nika, it was the most common boogeyman they warned us about. Whoa, that is so crazy. And it's kind of funny to think about the concept of how scary stories start, you know? Because every culture has like a boogeyman. In the lower world, this is the story, the scary story they were told as kids. In the lower world, there's a monster called the Rain God that dumps water on top of your head. Whoa! Oh no. It jumped back to the start. I hate when that happens. It's a new thing. It never used to happen. Okay. God of Rain! Zaza! Dum! Appearing to the rhythm of the prayers for rain. Ooh, it's Zaza. Freaky. Whoa, that is very, very, very cool. Help us! The children! Okay, that's not cool. The drowning isn't cool, but what I mean is just this concept of a rain god that dumps water on your head. Very cool design, yeah. And then, last page. Now take him away! Get ready, Somers! We can sail at any time. Uh-oh. Something's going on in the village. Should I turn around? Hmm. Oh, no. Huh? What? They're passing each other like this. That's gonna be very exciting in the anime. So they're on the way that way, and Sanji's on the way that way. So, um, I think Goldberg asks, "Should I turn around?" And then Zoro notices Sanji and says, "Nah." And he calls out to Sanji, "Hey, get the job done right. Same to you." That's them loving and supporting each other. FYI. Sometimes love looks like screaming at each other. I know. Oh, it's so fun. It's gonna be so good in the anime, but it's so good in the manga too. I really love the design of Zaza, God of Rain. Do you guys have any kind of story like that? The only thing that I can think about is something not in my culture, because I'm from South Africa. There's 11 official languages, which means there's way more than 11 cultures, but one of the most memorable stories is like horror stories that kids are told in one of the cultures is something called the tokoloshi. The Tokoloshi is a mischievous and evil dwarf-like water spirit in Nguni folklore. So it's from Zulu and Xhosa. I don't know how to say Xhosa with the click. I'm not gonna try. It's Xhosa. Xhosa. So it's a dwarf-like water spirit in Nguni folklore, known for causing havoc, illnesses, and death. Often summoned by witch doctors to harm others, this hairy, goblin-like creature can become invisible, leading to traditions like raising beds on bricks to avoid its attacks. And there are people who still do that today. It's described as a small, hairy, and goblin-like, sometimes taking bear-like form. It's created by shamans or witches to attack enemies. It's still a very popular thing to pay witch doctors to curse people that you don't like and stuff in this country. It can turn invisible by swallowing a stone or drinking water, and it can bite off the toes of sleeping people. Traditional methods to escape its wrath involves raising beds off the ground, often with bricks, and seeking help from traditional healers like sangomas or spiritual leaders. It is a prominent, feared, and often referenced myth in South Africa and Lesotho that functions as a supernatural explanation of for misfortune. I don't think Sanji could fight Zaza though. She's not a real woman. I think he'll be fine. Remember, Sanji, just because someone looks like a woman or has the design of a woman, I mean, Sanji was fine on Mr. Two's Ivankov's island. What was that? Kamabako. So, I think Sanji will be fine. Japanese word that describes the sound of rain. Zaza. That would be the names of the. What would be the names of the other gods? Oh, like Zaza, 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 Zaza. So Zaza. Oh, no, I think Sanji will be fine. I think it would be I don't think it's ever going to happen, but I do think it would be absolutely insane to see One Piece, to see Sanji, or I guess One Piece do this. Let me try this again. I think it would be absolutely insane if Sanji at some point was forced to fight a woman to save a woman. I like when characters core, like, that's a challenging situation, right? because I feel like it doesn't mean he needs to go against what he believes. I think there are ways to subdue a woman without hurting them. Like, I think if he can find a way around that thing that he can't do, if he can find I don't know what the word is. I think that would be just such a level up for me, such a power up. I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't think it'll ever happen at all. I don't think it needs to happen, because that's literally what having a crew is about. So that, whatever you can't do, someone else can take care of it for you. But I just feel like, because it's something that he physically should be able to do, not hurt the woman, but like, in order to save a friend that happens to be a woman, what would you do if you were faced with an antagonist that is a woman? Like, you don't have to hurt her, but find a way to, like, you know what I'm saying? Because Nami fights people sometimes that is stronger. Like, you fight people often that is stronger than you, or that is. So you have to find a way to, like, a strategy to deal with something that overpowers you. And in this case, it's kind of something that overpowers Sanji. So I would just think it would be very interesting to see him. How would he handle that, you know? But I don't think it needs to happen. I just think it would be very interesting. I'm trying to think of a similar comparison for, like, some of the other characters. Like imagine Usopp having to stand up to a giant and say no. Like, because they look up to giants as these warriors. But what if one of those warriors crosses a line? What if one of those warriors were to, like, I want to see Usopp stand up to something that he loves and believes in for something greater, Like, what if a giant crosses a line? Would he fight that giant? Something that he respects more than anything else in the world. I think that would be a cool scene. Huh? Zaza is Sanji's all blue. Sorry, had to say it. It's kind of crazy how Killingham can summon an actual water demon. That can be very effective against devil fruit users. Oh, I wonder if it's dream water. Would it have the same effects as actual water? Sanji was not fine against Bon Clay transformed as Nami. Yes, but he was Nami. I think Sanji is too in love with Nami to realistically understand that, hey, this is actually Bon Clay. But I was just joking. I just think that a water god is not really a woman, so I think he'll be fine. But maybe this is Oda's way of showing us, well, Sanji can handle something like this. Like, he can't fight a real woman, but he can handle a water god that looks like a woman. That would be, maybe that's his way of doing this, Okay, so let's quickly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll and then look at the comments on the Discord. And then, as usual, I'm going to take a peek at tweets. Okay, wait, Val is rolling. Okay, no, I'm going to wait for Val. If someone claims Luffy, at least I can react to it. And feel free to add thoughts, questions, whatever you like, theories. Higurama. He should be very high. He's, like, super loved in the community right now. 932. Oh, okay. Gabrielle is rolling. Oh, I missed my chance. Um, if water was produced by a devil fruit, wouldn't hockey just overpower it? Oh, true, true. I don't think if water can be produced by a devil fruit, it's not that goes against what the devil fruit's supposed to be, in a sense. Um, so I don't think that adds it's a sleepted. I think the manga made that clear, right? It's a sleepted. So I think it's not water, it's a sleepted water. And maybe there's a distinction. Dragon having Zaza fruit would be cool, cause what CD celestial dragons are more afraid of? Oh, like all of them were told the scary story as kids. So just have yeah, but it's basically rain on their heads. They would be incapacitated. That's funny. Are the rain god and the sea god two different entities? I would 100% think so. And remember, it's not an actual entity as far as I can tell. It's a scary story that people told their kids. In the album mural, we learn about the sea god specifically, but no word about a rain god. I think it's the sea god is more real mythology in the One Piece world, and the rain god sounds like a scary story told to kids. So not an actual. It's a real high possibility that dragon is rain god Zaza. Wait, dragon. Oh, very, 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 very cool. Cool, 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 cool. So like dragon as in when I read dragon having Zaza fruit, I thought you meant like imagine a dragon with a okay, I know who you mean now. Luffy's dad, Dragon. Please use a capital letter for his name just to make it slightly more clear. That would be helpful. Grammar, people, English, communication. Small things make a big difference. It's a real high possibility that Dragon is Rain God Zaza. Like he's the origin of the scary story. Because when he was in Logetown and he saved Luffy, he brought clouds and rain and made the sound za za za. The sound, like in the manga, it was written. That sounds like a very cool series. Yeah. I have a quick question. Monsterverse. Ooh, I don't know. I reacted to some Monsterverse movies, but I can't remember the titles right now. Let me quickly check for you. I can try. Sorry, this is unrelated, but I've reacted to 6 movies. Godzilla 2014, Godzilla -1, Godzilla 2, King of Monsters, Godzilla vs. Kong 2021, Godzilla Kong, The New Empire 2024. And also King Kong 2005 and Kong Skull Island. Those are the movies that I've seen. In the manga, it was written za za za. I mean, that is like the actual onomatopoeia for rain in Japan. So it's not a guarantee, but it seems highly freaking likely. It's a good theory. Okay, sorry. I'm going to roll for real now, and then I'm going to read the comments from the One Piece manga chat on Discord. I already claimed, so get ready to take Luffy from me. Did I claim in first hour? Yeah, I claimed in first hour. I just don't want to roll Luffy. Okay. Or Miku. But Miku, I'm already kind of like resigned to losing. I'm not 100% ready to give up on Luffy yet, but mostly. I just don't want to be, I don't really want to be there when it happens. Okay. Here we go. Scroll up. Here we go. The first message is from Rohit. How many slurs do you all think he said to Emu? I wonder if he recognizes him too. Probably. So, wait. This is from Tiago. Let me get it straight. The reason the Celestial Dragons took Marijoa on top of the red line isn't because they're fools who like high places, but because they were afraid of the rain god. I wonder if that's the if that's I don't think that's why they went there, but it's why they made the scary story. Like I think you're like, oh, they went there and then they told their kids like, oh, the underworld, it's the rain, like water falls on your head. Like I don't think that's why they went, but it's something that started when they were already living there. That's my guess. I should have left it at they were afraid of getting wet. Probably one of the reasons, but they also have Adam Tree at the top of the red line. It's symbolic significance because they think they're above other lower world people. Yeah, people have to be who has to be below the rain clouds, and rain falling on your head symbolizes that you're a lower person. So I just think like it's something that naturally a story that developed after they already lived up there. That would be my guess. I love how I managed to make the call that the hammer squirrel we saw back then ate the mythical Zawan fruit, because I was also wrong about it having ate Loki's fruit as well. So those were your theories, and you were kind of like half right and half wrong. Rohit says, once again, whoever skipped Skypia is stupid and not the real fan. So many people told me skip Skypia, and I refused, and I watched it, and it has been my top 3 favorite arcs since I saw it. Take her to the altar, god of the sun, god of the rain, god of the forest, god of the land. Sun, rain, forest, land. I mean, when you think about it, rain, like, have you seen the water cycle? The rain god and maybe the ocean could be the same. Maybe it's a water god, you know, because the water cycle, it includes like the water cycle is the path that all water follows as it moves around our planet. So evaporation, liquid turns to gas, condensation, droplets condense, and the celestial dragons put themselves above all the world, including the ocean, you know, because look at the rising waters, and like they think they're the only ones that should be allowed to live up there and survive if the waters rise again, you know, if the ice caps melt and whatever. We talked about that before, you know, like in the span of hundreds of years we are still technically at the end of an ice age. Like our life is so minuscule, you know, the 80 years we live, 60 to 80 years, it's so minuscule in the larger span of time. Every year has 4 seasons, but I believe that in terms of the planet, the universe, there's thousands of years, right? There are seasons that we can't even grasp yet. So as far as I understand it, technically the Earth is still at the end of an ice age that began roughly 2.6 to 3 million years ago, known as the Pleistocene Ice Age. While the last major glacial maximum ended about 11,700 years ago, our current warm period is just a temporary interglacial And the presence of ice sheets on Greenland and Antarctica means the ice age is still active. So meaning, the obviously people affect it to some extent too and hasten the process. But like naturally for thousands of years, the water has risen and gone down and risen and gone down. And like that's why many cultures, like you see cultures over different places, even though there's water between them, why does that culture have the same history as that culture, but they live so far apart? It's because at some point, the water retracted, there was land, and they moved and they separated or they couldn't go back. So the point is, a big event happened where suddenly a lot of land was lost, and now the celestial dragons believe that they're the only ones that deserve to live in the limited highest spaces that they took for themselves, to be above the plebs that have to drown. So obviously water, whether it's rain, whether it's the sea, they don't want anything to do with it, they fear it. So yeah, the rain god could be connected to it could be the same god. And if you look at this, why would there be a sun god, a forest god, a land god, and a rain god, but not an ocean god, despite how vast the ocean is? Could it just be like interchangeable name? Like to some it's a rain god, to some it's an ocean god, but actually maybe they're just, it depends on what kind of water affects your life the most. If you're a people that stay on the land, and the rain means, it can mean many things. Like food grows, plants grow, but it can also mean destruction. It's powerful, it's uncontrollable. So if you're the kind of civilization that lives on the land, rain would be very important to you. But if you're the kind of civilization that explores the oceans, you have more to do with the ocean, then I don't know. I'm just curious. Could it be like the same? What does the mural say? What does the mural mention? Okay. It was obvious no squirrel could live for 1,000 years. Is he Louis Arnaud? Louis Arnaud. Is he a One Piece? Louis Arnaud is an explorer and one of the people whose adventures are recorded in Brag Men, a book of Grand Line tales. Arnaud is famous for. Okay. I'll check our pens in a second. Arnaud is famous for giving Little Garden its name, though implied to be a true tale due to its inclusion in Bragman. It is considered by the rest of the world a mere fantasy. Arnaud is also visited Elbaf and wrote a description of its grandeur, though he warned people not to overstay their welcome, for as of yet unknown reasons. Based on his writings, Arnaud has an adventurous personality and interest in experiencing the world. As an explorer of the Grand Line and visitor to both Little Garden and Elbaf, it can be assumed Arnaud is quite skilled to be able to overcome the dangers of such journeys. At some point in the distant past, seemingly in the last 100 or so years, Arnaud visited Little Garden and Elbaf. He wrote about his time on both islands, naming Little Garden for the first time and warning visitors not to spend too long on Elbaf. His writings would be mocked by casual readers around the world, with his information on Little Garden being included in Bragman, a book of tall tales. He is incorrectly described as the sole author of Bragmen. This is untrue, as Bragmen is a collection of text by various explorers. Why do we think Arnaud? Why do we think, like, is there a reason? I'll make an attempt at translating in Mythical Squirrel. I swear, I'll wear your entrails like a fur coat, feed your balls to my new master, and mark my territory with the blood of your slaves. So Tiago is saying that's what he was saying. I wonder if Chopper could translate what he says in the future. It would be funny and interesting stuff to reveal. Well, I mean, doesn't Loki seem to understand him? So we don't really need Chopper to translate. But I'm sure Chopper could. Emu actually used bullets, and holy knights have mechanical hearts. I wonder if Emu is actually an ancient cyborg slash robot, and that's why he needs to stay in his chamber, because he recharges through ancient energy. When he said bullets, like, I wonder what the Japanese word, like, was originally, because what, you know, those little black things that got shot and they were like cannonballs. So maybe he's not meaning bullets literally, but rather just a description of the what the power looked like or how it affected, you know, the. But why are we connecting the owl to Arnott at all? Like, what's the basis of that? Just because Arnott was a writer and the book and the owl protects writings? Is that why? Tiago said, granted, I will give you that we did have Emmet and robots. Could in fact eat devil fruit too. I imagine Emu would not bother with that if he has eternal youth from the Ope Ope fruit. Unless, of course, he. But wait, if you want eternal youth, you need to keep the Ope Ope fruit, right? You can't just like use it once. Or how does it work? How is it supposed to work? When Emu teleported from Marijoa to Albaf, clouds were coming from on top, and we know that Dragon is in Marijoa, and he might be onto something. What chapter was that? Can I go have a look? Yes, I'm caught up with the new chapter. You can tell me something. Unless, of course, he once had a passion for cyborgs and robots like Luffy and Chopper and Frankie. Emu having eternal youth from Ope Ope fruit was an assumption theory by Ivankov. Maybe the reason of why he's immortal is simply because he's a robot or cyborg. I would imagine that if you are immortal through the Ope Ope no Mi, I would think you need to keep the fruit. Like, every time, I don't know. The Ope Ope user gives their life. The Ope Ope user gives up their life to give a person eternal youth. Oh. Eternal youth, like once off. Or can you continue? Like, here's my example. Imagine eternal youth water. There's two ways that could go. Number one, you drink it once, you have eternal youth forever. Number two, and that's probably more common, right? But there could also be number two, like I recently watched an episode of uh Mushishi that just put this idea in my head, like you can live forever, but you need to continuously drink this water that adds to your life. It continuously heals you, so you can live forever as long as you keep drinking it. So I guess in my mind I thought, if you want to live forever with the Ope Ope fruit, it's not like a once off thing. Like, someone gives up their life, it adds 40 years more for you, 40 years more, or like, I don't know, you have the fruit, and then if before you die, you can transplant your heart into someone else's body, and that's how you can keep living, or something like that. That sounds to me the most likely, because we saw in that one arc when everyone. Oh. Okay, but in that one arc, when everyone swapped their hearts, basically their mind got put into that body. So you can be immortal by keep doing that. Every time you get too old, you put into a new body, put into a new body. So, but you see my point, that you would need to keep the fruit. Like, I don't know. You know who is the rain god? Someone already said that. I already talked about it. I don't think Oda introduced Louis Arnaud just for the quote. Yeah, yeah, true, true, true. Oh, I agree with that, but the owl just seems interestingly mysterious. Why does he guard the books that were shipped recently? Solo words just made me more curious. Oh, like I didn't know you could do that. Like there's more to the owl. Well done, Biblo. I'm mighty glad. I'm even more perplexed about you. That's true. The fact that he doesn't know exactly who or what Biblo is. That's a good reason to theorize. But yeah, I was just curious about what was linking it to Arnold specifically. But it's very good thinking. Like Arnold, nothing that Oda writes, not nothing, but key things that Oda writes, like a name like Lois Arnold, who has been part of One Piece since Little Garden, and we're currently in Elbaf that he wrote about. It's a very good process, the conclusion to come to. You know, Oda doesn't write stuff like that just to throw it away. So I think nobody has the rain god fruit yet. It would be funny if it's the unknown fruit from the cover story on chapter 185 and nobody ever found it's there. Let me quickly check 185. And can someone point me to the chapter where we see rain clouds when he's leaving Marijoa or something? You said 185. Yo, that's long ago. Cover story for 185. Hachi's walk on the sea floor. Hachi receives a thank you gift of meat. Is this right? People are saying if there's a rain god devil fruit out there, it should be eaten by Nami or Vivi. Okay. Sanji's Conqueror's Haki awakening soon? Why? Why, based on this picture, are you asking that? Conqueror's Haki? This is by Toadgashi. Toadgashi. Dread it. Run from it. Destiny arrives all the same. I need more paint. I don't understand. Am I stupid? I need more paint. I'm sorry, I don't understand that one. The moment you realize Ragnir could solo Kaido for the title of Strongest Beast. Funniest interaction of the week. Who is Ragnir and Nidhogger? Never heard any name like this. Nidhogg is the dragon Loki transformed into, and Ragnir is the giant squirrel riding him. Oh, that giant is Loki. Bro, you gave me the spoiler. That's like you. Dash. Never mind. He's so corny. What do you mean by super Somers? It's old age. It's hard for him to get around without emu drugs. It's a meme about Mihawk. Don't worry about it. Soul was there for so many years in Elbaf, and only curious, but can't he get any details about the damn owl? Maybe, remember, Soul was away from Elbaf from a long time because he was working as a navy, in the navy, right? We don't know how long he was working for the Navy, so the owl could have showed up during that time and okay, let me just quickly take a peek on X. One Piece 1182. If this post here not proof enough, Dragon will be the rain god. People, I just don't know. So here's the theory about the rain god. This is like literally the first thing I saw when I opened X, which is why I don't use social media except for a Sunday night after I read the chapter, Monday and maybe a little bit, no, not even, maybe Monday, but I generally don't. I can't go online anymore. This was the first thing. So, Killingham mention of Zaza being connected to chanting a rhythm dance in hints and spoilers. I have discovered there was a rock band from New Zealand started in the 70s called Dragon. And not just that, y'all. Their hit song was the 1983 song called Rain. This is all the proof you need that points to Monkey D. Dragon being the rain god Zaza, and we all know Oda is a big music head. Oda is a 80s 70s music fan. He is, just as much as he is a big wrestling fan. I think a lot of people think just because these people are Japanese, they don't know about different variety of music. Araki, the creator of JoJo's, is the biggest example of a full-out music head. So imagine with Oda. So this is the picture. Ah, focus. So there's a picture of Dragon, and then that frightening story spoke of a monstrous rain deity who lived in the lower world and covered people's heads with water. This deity appeared to the rhythm of rain rituals, and its name was Zaza. Rain is a popular 1983 hit song by the New Zealand Australian rock band Dragon. Released in July 1983, the song was a major hit for the band's reformed lineup, peaking at number 2 on the Australian Kent. Can we? I know that this like stuff like this is most likely coincidence or whatever, but can we quickly take a look at? I mean, One Piece came out in the 90s, right? 1997. So this was 80s music, and who doesn't love 80s music? It was chapter 1179 when Emu teleported and the clouds were coming. Okay, I'll finish this quickly and then I really want to check that. Chapter 1179. Thank you, Booty and Nick Gura. So, but first let me just finish up. Rain by Neil Zaza is a popular 4-minute and 27-second melodic rock instrument song from the 1998 album Staring at the Sun. The track is known. So wait, Rain by Neil Zaza. He's not from the same band. Is he? Wait. New Zealand Music Dragon. They were formed in Auckland in January. So who were the members? Founded by brothers Mark Hunter and Todd Hunter with key songwriter Paul Hewson. So who's this Zaza? Was he not in the same band? He was a different band. The connection between New Zealand music band Dragon and Zaza is a fan theory linking the band's 1983 hit Rain to a rumored rain god Zaza in One Piece. The theory suggests that the author Oda, known for music references, used the band Dragon and their 1983 song to foreshadow plot points involving the character Monkey D. Dragon. Zaza music connection. Some theories also mention a 1987 rock band named Zaza, led by the guitarist Neil Zaza. So that's a different Zaza. Like there's Rain, a hit single by the band Dragon, and then there's a different guy from a different band called Neil Zaza who also has a song Rain. Is that a different song, or are these different songs? Okay, wait. I'm gonna Google Neil Zaza Rain, and I'm gonna Google Dragon NZ band Rain. So let me just double check if these are two different songs, just out of curiosity. So this one is Rain by Neil Zaza from 1998. And this one is a 1983 hit single. So they're two different songs. Interesting. Neil Zaza and a band called Dragon who also had the song Rain. Like it's pretty cool. It might be one hell of a coincidence. Or Oda, like he does mention Araki. It's not impossible. Sorry. I'm just checking some more people who tweeted with the hashtag OnePiece1182. The rain god Zaza was introduced with the exact same onomatopoeia under her, just like with Dragon. How can you still deny it? So this is a tweet from @Buggy. I mean, that is the onomatopoeia of rain, but like Nika is named after the sound of a cheeky smile. Zaza is named after the sound of heavy rain. The four gods are named after sound effects. "23 years after his first mention in Skypia, the god who embodies the greatest fear of the celestial dragons finally makes his appearance. And wow, what can I say?" This is a tweet by Saru D. Already the design is way too cool, but what really has me hooked is he follows exactly the same logic as Nika. Whether it's his reputation among the celestial dragons, his name is based on onomatopoeia, or his way of appearing, following the rhythm of the sound associated with him. It's truly the same principle, and it leaves one to imply all. But remember, this is a sleep tit. So this is just a representation, a dream representation of the rain god. Rohit says, I don't think Dragon has the rain god fruit. He probably got Serpent of Flame seen in the mural. Why? I appreciate hearing people's theories, but I would like to, if you can add why you came to that conclusion. Like, you can't just say this. You have to tell me, okay, what led to you thinking that? Otherwise, it's not really interesting. It's just some random claim that you could have pulled out of your ass. Imu used an attack named Tzitzimito after star demons from Aztec myth connected with the Five Suns legend. In the myth, the world is reborn 5 times. And in the final world, the sun god sacrifices himself by jumping into fire to become the new sun. So that's also a tweet from Buggy. Hmm. To create the fifth sun, our current world in the myth, the deities gathered in darkness and built a massive bonfire. 2 deities volunteered to jump into the flames to become the new sun and bring the dawn. Tekukgizekatl, a proud, wealthy, and arrogant deity who wanted the glory, but when he faced the roaring flames, he hesitated out of fear. And then Nanahuatzin, a humble, carefree, and expendable deity. Without a second thought, he recklessly threw himself into the fire, sacrificing himself to become the brilliant fifth sun. Ashamed, the proud deity jumped in after him, but the gods threw a rabbit at his face to dim his light, turning him into the moon. Tekukits Tekukitsikattakal, sorry, can be Blackbeard, and Nana Huatzin is Luffy. I forgot to mention the current world is supposed to be destroyed by earthquakes. What is Oda cooking? So, brief summation: mythic ages of the five suns. Classic Nahua text, such as Codex Chimalpopoca, record 5 successive world ages, each tied to the calendric day Nahui 4, plus a day sign of the 260-day To Na Pohuali. So the Nahuatl day name, there's age of 4 jaguar, age of 4 wind, age of 4 rain, age of 4 water, and age of 4 movement. So those are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 worlds. The number 1, giant humans were devoured by jaguars. Humans became monkeys, and the age ended in destructive winds. Third, a rain of fire destroyed the world. A few survivors turned into birds to go high. A great flood ended the age. Inhabitants were transformed into fish, with one couple becoming dogs. And fifth, foretold to end in a massive earthquake and the return of the Tsitsi Mimi. Jeez! This goes so deep, man. And you want to tell me that it should just end already? It should just fucking end already? I will end you. No, I'm joking. But really, I think instead of saying it should just end, if you're not interested anymore, you should just stop reading. Sorry. Here's new info thanks to Worst Jin. Emu says that Nidhogger is a traitor. It is confirmed that Ragnir is a hammer that consumed the Risurisu no Mi, mythical Zoan model Ratatosker. Emu uses a new attack called Tsitsi. Where did he use that? Did I miss when he said Tsitsi Mittel? It's a Mexican celestial deity. Hmm. Dragon has a symbol on his face similar to the giant serpent in the mural, and he has been called Insurgent Serpent by the Navy. That's some good reasons right there. I mean, for the theory. Iku is also a god, but we don't know who because he has a ring in his back with flames. And if you look at rain god Zaza, she has a ring too. So the gods, instead of clouds in Awakening, they have a ring. Let me see that. Ah. Oh, you mean like behind them, like that ring, like a halo, but not a halo, but similar. But even the halo, it's a circle, just like the clouds are like a circle. Okay, and then I should take a look at which chapter? 1179. 1179. That wasn't too long ago. Okay, so in 1179, we see Emu talking to the Gorosei. We see this gluttony girl throw a tantrum. They tell don't leave the castle. And it says this is no longer coincidence. Arrogance, sloth, detachment, pride cast us away these things at once. All is preordained. He's definitely some kind of like, he might have, this person or whatever might have started out, you know, those kind of people that is like absolute justice that takes it too far for 800 years and it just goes deeper and worse. And I will be back. You will have to search the whole world. Neptune had a daughter. They stole the devil fruit. What is in Elbaf? We found out who the pirate captain in the mist is. He is Loki, Harold's son. Whitebeard protected him. Who is it? Monkey D. Luffy. Who is that? Marshall D. Teach. Nefertari D. Lily. Joy Boy. Davy Jones. Still, you continue to torment me. I desire Vivi. What the fuck? And you want to tell me it should just end? It should just end? Sorry, I'm referencing the discussion at the start, and I still cannot fathom. Sorry. It all began long before this. The Holy Land, I leave to thee. But, great Emu, in the lower world you are ... We do not have the right to stop the Great One. And then on page 7, oh. So on page 7, Emu disappears, and then you see the clouds. And I can't, I see a bunch of, I see like the rumbling sound effects. I don't see Zaza though. There's not Zaza, but it shows like thunder clouds or rain clouds are coming. Can you please check some Skull Joe theories? Okay, I'm getting a bit tired, but I'll try one. 3 Skull Joe. 3 Skull Joe. So the tweet here, an interesting connection. This is based on if the rain god Zaza is associated with Arabasta, as Dawn Stussy and a few others have suggested, it may explain why Arabasta, Water 7, and the ancient city of Zo all share one very particular design feature. They're all built as giant aqueducts and water filtration systems. An interesting connection that I've not seen anyone point out yet. In this chapter, Emu uses a new attack named Tzitzimitl, Nova Eclipse. Tzitzimitl is a god in Aztec culture, and Aztec Mesoamerican cultures were one of the main inspirations for the civilizations of Skypia. An eclipse would also refer to the moon, and the winged races originated from the moon city known as Burka. the story is so good, but it's like, you know why it's good is because Oda takes inspiration. Like art imitates life, man. This is the kind of thing that gets you interested in history. It's like Vinland Saga, where I suddenly, or even Attack on Titan, made me very interested to. When I was in school, my teacher made us watch Schindler's List, and I don't know, there was another one, and like I liked the movies, but I didn't understand. And she took us to an Anne Frank museum, and like I remember being like, oh, interesting. But when I was watching Attack on Titan, I became like invested to understand like. And then when I watched Vinland Saga, there's this there's a great wealth of information if we truly read and learn and discuss history. Like, I regret not having history in school, but I was never interested. But anime and manga make it seem like it's not just some old people from 100 years ago. I mean, this is the foundation of society today. Thank you, Hanku. So anyway, I have to end it now. I'm getting tired and hungry. I will be like mulling things over. Feel free to add more thoughts in the comments. I will be re-uploading this to my manga channel and posting it there. So sadly the live chat won't carry over, but I appreciate your time and your interest and your discussion. Like, I love that we're all passionate about something so great as One Piece. It's not something for everyone. I understand that, but classical music isn't for everyone. It doesn't make it less great. So thank you, Rohit, Mano, Hassan's Theorem, Manuel, King Ghidorah. Oh, I didn't know someone posted my reaction to a movie. Cool. Where did they get it? Thank you, King Ghidorah. Um, EA official, Booty. I really had fun discussing it, and I think there's much, much more to discuss. But yeah, there's a reason why people write extensive tweets, notes, essays, not just on One Piece as a whole, but single characters. You could write books of what inspired it and where it like theories. There's so much to talk about, but we just don't have enough time. But we do need a wall. Oh, this with that red string to start connecting. Man, if I could, I'd take a week off and reread One Piece and make a wall like that, but I can't. So thank you guys for at least entertaining my random thoughts and sharing yours with me, even though they're much more well thought out. But yeah, I'll see you. Well, tomorrow night at 7 p.m., I hope to stream on Twitch for Pokemon. I'm going to be continuing my yellow journey. So hopefully I'll see some of you there. Bye. Oh, I'm still recording. Well, the end.